Now to the latest facts in the coronavirus pandemic, as there are now more than 12 million coronavirus cases here in the U.S., adding more than 1 million new cases in less than a week. The country set another high record, adding almost 195,000 new cases on Friday. People across California are getting ready for a new curfew that begins tonight in areas with the rising cases. Residents cannot leave home for non-essential activities between the hours of 10 p.m. and 5 a.m., and that order remains in effect until December 21st. Philadelphia's mayor has banned all indoor dining and put new capacity restrictions on outdoor dining. Gatherings at private residences are also prohibited. The new restrictions last there until the end of the year. And college football takes another hit. The Clemson-Florida State game set for today was postponed hours before kickoff after medical personnel from both teams could not agree that it was safe to play. And now that makes 18 total games canceled this weekend, more than 80 for the season. Let's go to NBC's Erin McLaughlin in Los Angeles at Dodger Stadium for us, where the testing, as I say hello again to you, Erin, I know it's ramping up now, but talk about how unprecedented the levels of infection are in California right now.
Yeah, unprecedented, Alex, is a word that we're hearing over and over from Californian officials. They've seen a doubling in terms of the average daily case counts, over 10,000 daily cases now in California. And with it, we're also seeing a surge in demand for testing. Just behind me is Dodger Stadium. It's the largest testing facility in the state of California. They've seen the demand here in LA County for these tests double, and as you can see, those lines of cars extending for miles now. Everyone there will have 24 to 48 hours until they receive their results. That, according to officials that I've been speaking to here. Officials also telling me, though, that it's not just about the rise in number of cases, that they're seeing a surge in demand because of the Thanksgiving holiday. People wanting to get tested, wanting that peace of mind before meeting with their friends and families, and that's a particular concern to officials here. They say that just because, say, you get a negative COVID test today, that is no guarantee that you will be COVID-free come Thanksgiving. And they're really discouraging those large gatherings. They're discouraging people from traveling. But the question is, are people listening? You know, I was just at LAX airport 10 o'clock last night on a Friday, and it was totally packed. So authorities trying to get this situation under control ahead of the holiday, introducing that so-called curfew, stopping all non-essential businesses from operating between the hours of 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. Californians here that we've been talking to taking those measures in stride. Take a listen.
I think if that's what's got to happen, that's what's got to happen to curb this thing. If more people would just go along with the guidelines, maybe we wouldn't have to have it. But at this point, we just have to do it.
You know, it's a tough pill to swallow, but like honestly, I feel like we need it. Like I honestly think we need to shut down for like 6 weeks. I think people need to be paid for that 6 weeks so we can just eradicate this thing and get back to our normal lives.
Now, the big question, of course, is what happens if this latest round of measures does not work to stop this unprecedented surge of cases that we're seeing here right now. California officials say they're looking at full statewide stay-at-home orders if this continues to go in its current trajectory. Alex?
Nobody wants that. Erin McLaughlin, thank you so much. Joining me now, MSNBC medical contributor Dr. Kavita Patel. She's also the former health policy director for the Obama administration. Welcome, Dr. Patel. Let's get right into this here, because I've got to know your reaction when you hear the U.S. added 1 million new cases in less than a week. Why is this happening now?
Yeah, Alex, it's so disturbing. We are seeing and exceeding some of the estimates that we had, and that's just without the Thanksgiving crush that we know is going to happen. So I think that we're seeing this for a couple of reasons. It is getting colder. People, as the country is getting colder, moving indoors more. You heard about the small gatherings at bars, restaurants, gyms, as well as people's homes. And then, Alex, here's what we're hearing, and I'm seeing in clinical medicine. We're seeing a lot of people who are asymptomatic and positive. So they might get a positive test or they might not get tested at all. And they'll say, well, I don't feel bad. And so they don't necessarily isolate the way they should. And then the people around them are not quarantining as they should, Alex. They're kind of going through work or they're going to some of their usual activities. And literally, it's called viral spread for a reason. One person doesn't just infect one infects 3, then infects 10, and so on and so on.
So that phenomenon you're talking about people who get tested and they say, look, I don't feel bad, but I'm going to get tested, but it may not be something that lasts. People get tested today, shouldn't think they have a free pass right for Thursday for Thanksgiving to gather with their friends. Now that we have better access to testing than we did when the pandemic began, I mean, is that a bit of a conundrum for folks?
It can be. Here's what I'll say. Testing, keep in mind, it tests you literally for that moment that you are receiving the test. And we know that you can walk away. You can have a negative test, Alex, and literally an hour later have a positive test. Think about it as a home pregnancy test. You can test too early, but still be pregnant and have a negative test. So testing alone is not a way to guarantee peace of mind. The only way to do it, Alex, would be to have frequent testing along with a quarantine period where you literally stay at home and you make sure you have no contact with individuals. And then you could start to think about whether or not your risk is very low. But here's the point. It's not just your risk, Alex. Remember, if you're in a household with other people that are not familiar to you, guests, you're hosting, etc., those people have the exact same potential contacts. They went to a coffee shop that morning. They went and picked up their child from daycare the day before. All of these contacts have a potential percentage of risk, and it doesn't add up to 0.
Dr. Kavita Patel, sobering, but much appreciated. Thank you so much. President-elect Biden has promised to address the problem of racial inequality in this country, and Reverend Al Sharpton will tell us how Biden can do it and why it needs to be done, and soon.